It does not have to be a new year, a new you. It just has to be a healthier you in the new year, you guys. Make sure you check down below in the description box where you can find the links to TLC products, including the ISOT, the NutriBurst, the Life Drops, the Resolution Drops. There's just so many things there to help you in burning fat and staying healthy. There's even the new Immune Tea, which I'm going to order. So I can't wait to try that. And I hope they get the sea moss back. But I do love the sea moss from Mint and Ocean. I'm sorry, it's supposed to be a commercial. Yes, okay? Get those TLC products from me. And do not forget that my biggest life change has been through Kiara LASHAE, Team LASHAE, ifyoucanmove.com. You guys get cute little outfits from Peja and Amari. You also check out Just Move Supplements because she is helping us with the energy. Okay, this is the energy supplement. Love it. Okay, just got my protein. Gonna get me some after I work out. So yeah, y'all, down below in the description box, support. So you guys are always asking me where I get my glasses from. So I thought I would finally give y'all a real little ad, okay? Firmoo, I can't see, bitch. Okay, I'm just playing. I'm just joking. These are my new Firmoo glasses here. Super, super cute, right? They are prescription because I'm like totally blind. And I got these matte ones that I think are really dope. And I felt like they would go good with the fact that I no longer have hair. You know what I'm saying? But either way, you guys can use my link and give me credit and get you some glasses from Firmoo. Sorry, y'all know I'm weird. Whatever.
Hey everybody, what's up? It's your girl Bondi Blue. Let's go ahead. Hey everybody, what's up? It's your girl Bondi Blue. Okay, follow me on Instagram and let's get into the video, right?
I was waiting on y'all. I was like, oh, so 100 of y'all are not gonna come back for this foolishness? Then y'all gonna be like, am I late? Nah, I know YouTube probably tripping on the notifications. I'm just waiting. Are we ready? We gotta block somebody and I ain't even started yet. Like, I'm trying to give people time to get here because I didn't tell y'all about this in enough time. And YouTube likes to play about when they send out notifications. And plus, I wanted to make sure I had the right graphics. The fuck? Okay. You was okay. Hey, y'all. L'Oreal POV, why you keep asking what's from Lake Charles? Like, why you keep typing that in? I started in the last video and I was like, I don't know what that means. We back? Excuse me. We're back. We're ready. We're going to get into put a ring on it. Can we do that? Hey, Saki. Thank you for coming back. Oh, y'all had a troll in the last one. So somebody, oh yeah. Child, that's why, you know, I trust my moderators to do their job. Ain't nobody got time to be worrying about y'all. Oh, hey, Ned, boy, Ned, wish I could do what you do at bit. Okay, listen. Oh, I love that. I motivated you to, dear Bondy, you motivated me to start working out. Thank you for being so consistent. Sorry for being off topic. It's fine. We haven't gotten into it yet. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm glad I helped motivate y'all, child, because other people motivate me. Okay, so all right, it's 130 y'all in here. Don't be a stalker. Like my video, I actually created graphics so that you can see these people. Okay, because a lot of y'all would have been like, who we talking about? What happened? Who's that? What's going on? What's happening? Huh? Okay, listen, visuals. Appreciate me. Okay, appreciate me. Okay, y'all ready? Y'all ready? Okay, we getting into it. All right, so let me go back to my put a ring on it notes because y'all, I have to get the screenshots based off the pictures. That's just how this goes. All right, let's blow this up because I'm blind. Okay, so this episode, everyone is going on a date at the exact same time, at the exact same place as their counterpart, which is going to be problematic. Okay, definitely. Jessica goes on a date with Clarence. As you guys can see, I have Jessica pictured on the purple background, and that is her bodybuilder, big shouldered ass date, Clarence. Okay, child, who named that man Clarence? They was wrong for that. Okay, that just seemed like such an old name for this young looking man. Okay. But Clarence is a bodybuilder. He's a gladiator. I could barely fit his shoulders on the screen. Okay. So Eric seems unbothered. You know what I'm saying? He tells them to go ahead, be safe, and have a good time. All right. But that's because he's not staying home. He's going on a date himself. And this is when I get confused with Jessica and Eric, because I never understand if they're being honest about their feelings or if they're just doing tit for tat. Okay, because Eric goes on a date with Tanisha, who low-key was giving Meg the Stallion tease, like in his face area. Okay, she was a cute girl, but you could tell she doesn't work out the way that Jessica works out. Okay, and when he kept saying that she wasn't attractive or wasn't his type or he wasn't physically into her, that's what he was talking about. Okay, because it couldn't have been a face issue because the girl is beautiful. And he had a great conversation with her. He says that he actually wasn't even really worrying about Jessica because he was having such great conversation with Tanisha. And I was like, is that the truth, or are you putting 20 on 10 to make Jessica feel bad? Because that's what y'all like to do. Y'all like to play tit for tat. Y'all like to make each other jealous. Y'all like to do all of this like immature shit in y'all relationship and then pretend as if y'all are being honest about y'all feelings and emotions. And that's what I can't get with. Grow up. Everybody, you know what I'm saying? Because Jessica was like, let the games begin. No, not let the games begin. Y'all are not being honest in this process. Therefore, I don't know what you're going to get out of it besides putting each other through a very stressful and traumatic situation. Like, that's all I really see y'all doing right now. Okay, just annoying and upsetting each other to no end. And that's what y'all were doing before y'all came on the show. So what y'all doing here? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's where my mind went on this whole episode with the two of them. Okay. But like I said, Tanisha is not his type. Still pretty. The conversation is good. So he's not even really focusing on Jessica. I don't know if he meant that or if he's just saying that, to piss her off. Jessica and her date decide, halfway through their little conversation, which, wasn't that deep and wasn't nothing to write home about. They get up and they leave before Eric and his date. Eric didn't even blink. Eric wasn't paying attention because Eric was all into what was going on with Tanisha. Okay. So when they get home, Eric is laying it on so thick to Jessica about how that was the best conversation he's ever had. And, he's never had those types of conversations with her. And it was really making it seem like Jessica is shallow and vapid. But here's the thing. That might be true. You may not have deep, profound, thought-provoking, interesting, fun conversations with Jessica because that's not why you picked Jessica. You picked Jessica so she can be arm candy, so that all of the niggas you played football with, you know, currently, thereafter, and all of that would be mad at you. She is somebody that you use to make you feel good about yourself because she's what most of these men out here want. A slim, thick, little light-skinned girl with curly hair. Okay, that's still the ideal for a lot of these out here. Okay, and he knows that. So having her is like having a trophy he can show to everybody whenever he's feeling insecure, to tell you the truth. Okay, and I think it was the same thing for her having a football player with money. You know what I'm saying? But now I don't know what's going on in their relationship. It just seems like a bunch of bullshit. The fact that he kept telling her how great the date was, telling her how great the conversation was, talking about how he felt like he was in an empty room with this woman until she started to cry. And it almost seemed like that's the response he wanted to get out of her. Like he wanted to make her feel that way. And once she started to cry, he was satisfied. Like, I made her feel a way. I won. It was almost like, oh, I got you to cry. That means I won this mind game that we're playing with each other. When the truth of the matter is, you're doing emotional damage to a person that you claim to love. I found that there was no kindness in his honesty because I could not tell whether it was honesty or, like I said, bullshit. Okay, so let's move on from them to LaRonda and Sean, who I have over here on this red burgundy looking background, child. Okay, so let me go back to the notes. Sean is not reacting well to LaRonda, even when she's getting ready for her dates. Okay, mind you, she was already dressed, had her cute little red dress on. He came in there talking about it was too short. She's ironing his jeans. I felt like his ass was so nervous, you should have made him iron his own fucking clothes. He had a whole bunch of energy he needed to get out. Come iron your own shit. It was still her way of trying to be considerate of him in this moment where he feels like he's about to lose control because he's not controlling what she's doing on this date, even though he's going to be sitting there watching her. But because he was also going on a date, because he knew he was going to be able to have his eyes on them, he had a little bit more confidence than he did last time, but he still had the same anxiety and the same fear and the same insecurity going on that he did when she went on that date last episode. Okay, so LaRonda goes on a date with Sir James. I don't know if y'all can tell, but Sir James is nice looking. Nice build, and apparently showed up in an expensive car. I did not realize it, but guess what? Sean sure as hell did. Okay, when he goes to the door to bring Sir James in, he's like, this is my woman, this is my baby, this is the love of my life, just my soon, my everything, nigga. Okay, and this your date. Sir James said, hey, how you doing? I'm Sir James. I got on a tight turtleneck. I'm fine as fuck and I got money. What's up, bitch? He didn't say that, but he was giving off a very like big dick energy about himself that wasn't even worrying about what Sean was going through. Sean was on, I'm nervous because a nigga with big dick energy just walked into my house and is going on a date with my old lady. Like, that's where he was at with it. You know what I'm saying? But either way, Sean was trying to remain calm, but he was not calm at all. Okay, he goes on a date with this pretty young lady named Brittany. All right, all we know about Brittany is that she was a singer. After that, we don't know shit else about her because he spent the entire date staring at LaRonda and Sir James. And LaRonda, when I tell you, I don't even think I saw her look at him once. When they was taking them shots and she was like, all right, we're gonna do this shit. She was like, all right. She's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, she's so cool. Like, she was enjoying herself. They was having good conversation. That man was sexy and confident, and her man was over there losing his shit, and that is unattractive. Even though I understand how he felt, he was supposed to control that shit, and he didn't. And that was so unattractive, and I felt like it made it even easier for her to ignore him because she didn't want to have to be responsible for his feelings. So having somebody in front of her who was giving her all of that good energy, who was looking good, like it was almost like, oh, thank God, I can lean into worrying about this man and stop being responsible for his feelings because I know he's over there feeling a whole bunch of fucking feelings. You know what I'm saying? And you could tell that she was going to be made responsible for his feelings once they got home. Like, you already know. At some point, LaRonda and Sir James get up to walk out, and Sir James had his hand on the small of her back. Baby, why he do that? Now, I had to explain to my husband that the truth of the matter is, as a woman, there are places that men often touch you. So there are times when you feel it and then you don't, you know what I'm saying? You don't exactly register. It doesn't register. Like they touch you, it happens, it goes in your mind and out your mind. It doesn't make you feel uncomfortable. So it's not something you focus on. But what you did remember, they didn't try to hold your hand. Y'all didn't hug. Y'all didn't kiss. You know what I'm saying? Somebody putting their hand on your back as they open the door for you, I feel like it's such a common physicality with men and women that I feel like niggas was like, he was looking for a reason to lose his shit. And she was having too much fun. That's what he said. But I felt like she needed to do that because he was going to overreact no matter what she did. No matter what she did, he was going to find something to be sick about. He was going to find something to be hurt and upset about. Okay? Yeah, she's getting tired of being emotionally responsible for him. That's what that is. It's all well and good. I love you. You know what I'm saying? I want to be with you. But at the same time, you are wearing me the fuck out. Like, that's what it felt like. But yeah, Sean gonna lose his mind. We're gonna get to that in a minute. So let's move on to the couple right in the middle. We got Darian and Kai. Okay, so I'm sorry, Darian and Alexia, okay, the couple, but Darian goes on his date with our girl Kai right here, okay, and they were in the car together. They were the only couple that we saw drive there together. I was like, oh, okay, there's a real familiarity going on here that, you know, feels a tad bit shake. Okay, what's going on here? All right. But either way, she is not happy when she finds out that Alexia is going to be at the restaurant for their date. And she said that she doesn't do number two. She doesn't do side chick. So she's not going to do well in this environment feeling like the other woman. And she really hopes that he doesn't make her feel like that. Okay. And I'm like, well, ma'am, you're already the other woman. He already has the number one. You're already in that position. So I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. By the time Alexia and her date, Desi, who did not get a confessional for some reason, show up to go on the date, Kai and Darian were already well within their meal, eating, chumping hard, enjoying each other's company as if they've been fucking for a while now. Okay. And we find out from Alexia this episode that she is in sales, but she also works with the Atlanta Hawks. So she still does have a career in basketball. And I appreciate that because I feel like something about the career is probably linked to why she seems so unhappy, but it probably is more of the relationship than we knew. They said they didn't have any trust issues, but then when she's talking to Desi and she's starting to get comfortable talking about Darian, it seemed like she was trying not to talk about Darian, but as soon as the door opened, it was like the gates opened. And Darian pissed me off because he told Kai that Alexia was intimidated by her. And I was so upset by that because I was like, even if your girl did feel that way, why would you put her at that disadvantage and tell that bitch that shit? Why would you do that? That's why when she walked out that restaurant, she grabbed your hand and smiled at your old lady like, bitch, I just took your man. Me and my big ass booty, okay, me and my heavy ass booty about to get up here and shake and jiggle our ass out the door, carrying your man up behind it, bitch, because you told her that Alexia was intimidated by her and she took that shit and ran with it. He was so wrong for that. I was so mad at Darian when he did that shit. I was like, you disrespectful ass motherfucker. If it ain't disrespectful enough how comfortable you and this lady are with one another, okay? If that ain't enough, you gonna sit up there and give her that ammo against your old lady? That shit was messed up to me. And I almost felt like he did that because he probably looked over at one moment and saw her engaging in a real conversation with Desi and got upset. So let me throw a slug at her. You know what I'm saying? And tell this to this girl because I know it's going to hurt her. And I also feel like they could hear each other's conversations because when she, you know, when he said that shit, she looked in his direction, you know, and Desi was like, don't worry about that. You should be focusing on yourself right now. And she couldn't. I feel like Desi felt the way, but I feel like it was damn near impossible for that girl to focus on the man who was sitting in front of her when her real nigga who she about to go home with is over there with the heavy booty bitch and they doing the most. You know what I'm saying? They smiling all in each other's face. He telling her all kind of crazy shit. So they get up to walk out. And, you know, she like, we letting hands go because, of course, all they do is hold hands. They are very affectionate and have been since their very first date. But Alexia didn't see that. Now she sees they're always holding hands. So we're going to let hands go. When I tell you that girl did not let that hand go, she had him by the fucking finger. He was like, look, she got me by the finger. But I was like, nah, nigga, don't do that. Because the only reason you was going to let go of her hand is because Alexia said something. Because before then, you was walking out holding her hand. You wasn't about to let go of her hand until Alexia said something in that restaurant and you felt embarrassed. So then you wanted to let her hand go. But you was just fine holding her hand all them other times. So stop fucking playing. While Alexia was talking to Desi, she said that he spends a lot of time in the studio. Desi recognized Darion from Field Mob. And he was like, so that's one of the problems? And she was like, yeah, because he always acting like he's in the studio. But I don't never hear no new music. So y'all do have trust issues. So he does cheat. So you do think he cheat. Maybe you don't have evidence, but if he's not coming home at night, like I'm telling you, something like they're not being honest about the state of their relationship, and it's obvious and it's fucking annoying. Let me go ahead and move on. So when everyone meets up with Dr. Nicole, they start with LaRonda and Sean, and they ask how their dates were. LaRonda said it was good. Sean said it was okay, but he couldn't really focus on the date because he was so focused on what LaRonda had going on. And then he starts to say, I don't even know why y'all picked that guy for her. He had an expensive car and them big ass muscles and shit. I don't even think she into big ass muscles and expensive cars. I was like, I be good goddamn. Did y'all see how everybody was laughing at him? They weren't laughing with him. They were laughing at him because he sounds so ridiculous as to think that a woman would not want to be with a fine ass man who has money. You sound crazy. Okay? Niggas who got money look good and have respect enough to open doors and pull out chairs and not treat you like shit. Are you serious? Child, they're an anomaly. Okay? But either way, he sound crazy. And Dr. Nicole says, well, how can you answer that for her? First, you diminish him, and then you make the decision for her how she feels about him. It's a tactical control mechanism. It's a way for you to control. And I feel like he is, I don't know whether he never said his dad was abusive. He said his dad wasn't there, but something feels very abusive about the way he experienced his father. Therefore, the way he shows up trying to control LaRonda seems very controlling, violence, abusive in that same vein. Even if he's trying so hard not to be like his dad, this feels like you're going to turn into him because you don't know how to let go. You don't know how to understand that you don't really have control of LaRonda. If LaRonda decided tomorrow that she wanted to go and be with Sir James, or even if she just didn't want to be with your ass, you would have to live with that. You would have to be okay with that. You can't walk around acting like I can't live without this person. I can't be without this person. We say shit like that, but we don't really mean that. Okay? We don't really mean that because life always goes on no matter what. Okay, people be in mid-love. I mean, at the height of love with somebody and a person passes away and they still have to move on with their lives eventually. So don't sit up here and act like losing a relationship is the worst shit that can ever happen to you in life and make her responsible for you in that way. It reminds me of people that like to, be like, oh, if you leave me, I'll kill myself. Not to say that he's taking it to that level, but it's that level of manipulation that she feels so responsible for his emotions that she can't even be honest about how she feels. Okay. LaRonda says that Sir James was visually appealing and his conversation was great. And then Sean interrupts her to bring up how he found it problematic that Sir James put his hand on LaRonda's back. She says that she didn't feel it. I really feel like she probably more so just didn't register it because so often men like touch us in certain areas. So like it doesn't always register. Like it just doesn't, especially if you already feel comfortable with someone. But I don't think she was lying. I really just don't feel like she registered it in that moment. So when he was saying it, she was kind of like, I don't even remember that, but whatever. Like it doesn't even matter. He didn't kiss her. He didn't, it's not like they had sex. You tripping out. You tripping out. Okay. And Dr. Nicole tells him that he is filtering things through a corrupted, controlling ass lens. And he needs to clean that up so he can stop seeing everything in such a negative way. Darion says that his date with Kai was bad. And Alexia brings up how she can't tell because of the way Kai grabbed Darion's hand when they were walking out the restaurant like they was going down to the hotel. I said it sure did look like they was going down to the motel. Okay, it sure did. Darion says that Kai grabbed his hand, and Alexia responding in the way that she did embarrassed him. Dr. Nicole gets Alexia to realize that she has to start, like, she has to stop trying to control the process. Just do the process, okay? Stop trying to control. Stop trying to put rules on it. Stop trying to put boundaries on it. If he's going to go, let his ass go. That's what y'all need to understand. You're trying to hold on to somebody so tight when you don't realize that letting them go might be the best thing for everybody. Either y'all might come back to each other better, or letting each other go will help y'all find out if y'all really need to be together at all, okay? 14 years is a long ass time to be with somebody, to come to a point where you still don't even know if y'all want to take it to the level of marriage after 14 years. Like, how long have they been actually living in the same household? I can't remember. But anyway, Eric talks about his date with Tanisha and how amazing she was and how it taught him that looks aren't everything, okay? Because he had such a great time with her. And like I said, I felt like he was low-key calling Jessica shallow and vapid, like she doesn't have good conversation in comparison because all she's worried about is looks. And I feel like I beg to differ. I think that girl was beautiful just because she wasn't the body type that you're used to. But I also feel like you chose to be with a woman who was solely to be like a beautiful model for you. She wasn't supposed to talk. She wasn't supposed to have mental and all of that type of shit. She was just supposed to look good and make you feel good in sex. Like, that's probably what you sought after her for. And now y'all are all these years later in a relationship, and yes, y'all love each other and y'all have probably had good conversation. But him bringing that up, I definitely feel like was reflective of her saying that she felt like he was all about sex and looks. Well, girl, that's obviously why he chose you. And I think she's starting to understand that she's not the exception to his rule. The reason why he's like that is very much reflective of why he picked you. You know what I'm saying? So she needs to understand the relationship might just need to be let go, because I don't think y'all see it for each other. Y'all don't really handle each other with care. And I think that that's abusive emotionally. To be in a relationship with someone and be playing emotional warfare with them. Y'all, that shit is tiring and way too much. I don't have the bandwidth. I'm stab, stab, stab on people. I'm just saying. Dr. Nicole says it's cool to know your partner, like Jessica seems to think she knows Eric, but also allow for them to be who they are and let things be what they are, instead of you always having to put your mindset on it. Jessica has the same issue that I think Sean has with looking at things through a lens, you know, looking at things through the way they see them versus what they really are. Okay. But anyway, she says they have to be able to be honest even when it doesn't make them comfortable. And I love that. I love that, because a lot of people do not like to be honest if it makes them feel uncomfortable. And that's really terrible, because then you start to act like things aren't facts because they make you uncomfortable. And that is fucking dangerous, as we've seen. Okay. So at the end, they talk about who's going to go on dates. Okay. Who's going to go on third dates and all of that. Darion and Kai are going on a third date. Alexia is not going to go on another date with Desi, obviously. Child, Desi don't want to go on another date with you. She kept talking about how he was flirting with her, but I couldn't even believe she paid attention to the fact that he was flirting with her. And I didn't even see the flirtation, but okay. Jessica is going on another date with Clarence. And Sean says he's not going on another date with Tanisha because he wasn't that attracted to her. And I told y'all he was never going to choose to go on another date or pick another girl over Jessica if that girl wasn't more beautiful than Jessica in his eyes, because that matters. That's still the like foremost thing in his mind is how somebody looks. Okay. LaRonda wanted to go on another date with Sir James, but because of Sean and his emotional ass, she doesn't really want to be honest about that. And y'all know the truth is, when I was watching the episode during this portion, she looks like they were already arguing about that shit before they got there. She looked like she was tired of talking about it even before they got there. Like he probably went in on her about that date and that situation all night before they came there. And then they came there that day and had to talk about it again. And at that point, she was fucking over it. Okay. But you could definitely tell that LaRonda's energy was taken down by whatever the fuck Sean was going through. And that's why I feel like she's about to get tired of him with that, because it's toxic. It's toxic and it's unsustainable. You can't keep putting all of your emotional woes on that woman and expecting her to bear the heaviness of that. That's not her fucking responsibility. You know what I'm saying? Something's a little off about Sean. Sean can't control his emotions. That's what's off about him. He's a grown-ass man that can't control his emotions. That's what it is. But let's go ahead and move on to Ready to Love, people, because I don't have a lot of time, okay? So, y'all, Ready to Love started off where the last one left off, which was with Kyra letting us know if she was interested in dating AJ after he said he was still interested in dating her. She did a lot of talking, but basically she said, no, I'm not interested in dating him again unless he comes at me correctly. And I don't understand what that means for her. But we do know AJ was moving suspect. So I feel like just wipe your hands with it, bitch. It needs to be done with. It needs to be over. It doesn't need to be another opportunity for him to come and try again. That would be 3 strikes, you're out in the old ball game, nigga. Like, how many times are you going to try to make this situation work with AJ? It's definitely what makes me feel like they've had a physical relationship. I don't know if they have for sure, but I definitely feel like Kyra and AJ have had some type of physical relationship. They also say, allegedly that AJ possibly smashed Alexis as well. I'm not sure, but you better bet your bottom dollar I'm going to be asking Tressa and Alexis in their interviews about all of this tea that AJ is slinging pipe to everybody. And how was it if he is? Okay. Okay. So moving on from that, Troy in all of his foolishness. And by foolishness, I mean Troy and him loving to put his nasty ass lips on all of the women of the cast. Him enjoying offering trips to all of the women, just being a creepy ass, disingenuous fuckboy. Somebody that's insecure. Somebody that knows women aren't going to really like him just based off of what he shows up with. So he needs to dangle shit in front of you to, you see that? It's a trip, bitch. Yeah, you see that? You like that? Get that. Come on. Come get the trip. Come get the trip. Like, I'm not a fucking puppy, nigga. Stop it. Okay? Oh my God. Okay? But he says that he was offering trips to everybody, but swears it was only, he was offering trips to everybody, but he swears it was only 2 people. We know it was more than 2 people. Then about 3 or 4 women raised their hands and say that they were all offered trips. Then they talk about how he was constantly putting his nasty ass lips on people. And we were in a pandemic, so you were definitely doing too much. And he says he has to learn to be more careful, especially in front of the camera. I was like, oh, so you're going to continue to sexually harass women by taking advantage of the fact that most women, just in society, don't push men away when we want to out of fear of what their response will be. So y'all take liberties with that. Women often aren't comfortable with the physicality that men will take with them. Like, y'all want to hug and kiss and shit just because we're familiar with one another. And I didn't invite you to do all of that. And you took advantage of the fact that as a woman, I'm probably not going to push you away, even if I'm uncomfortable. And I feel like Troy does that. It's the same thing that David did to Liz, trying to force yourself on a woman because you feel like society-wise, she's not going to reject you when you catch her on the spot like that. Okay? That's what that's all about. That's some bullshit. And I don't like that. And I don't like that he thinks that's okay to do. And I like that Amber checked him and told him, don't call that shit your signature move because it is sexual harassment. In 2021, I need for you to be sure that someone wants your nasty ass lips on them. Not only because we are in a time frame where people need to be respecting other people's personal space and bodies, but also because pandemic, nasty shit, ew, I don't know you. Keep your mouth to yourself. Thank you though. Okay. No, thank you. Thank you though. Okay. And then we talked to Andrea about her cat. Y'all know her cat ran away, and a lot of the men were not really talking to her about that. Y'all, it brought me back to Diedrich being way more inclined to emotionally support the women on the cast, but somehow still isn't the one that they wanted to date. Questions. I definitely need to ask Tressa about that. Okay. So yes, Andrea did eventually find her cat, thank God. Andrea has learned that she needs to be a little bit more I guess, aggressive in the dating process, because she can sometimes just kind of lay back on her laurels and it doesn't come across well. But at the same time, when it came to Christian, okay, they said the same thing about Christian. They seem to be vibing. Now they're going to go on a date. They've been having conversations, and y'all both said the same thing about them. So I feel like everybody doesn't need to show up in the world like Alexis or Kyra or Joelle for that matter. There are some people that play it back and allow for gravity to take place. You know what I'm saying? Because if two people are supposed to find each other, they will. There's no need to like force or overdo, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's what they wanted out of Christian and out of Andrea. And it's funny that they actually were themselves and ended up finding each other. I hope that they, had a good time on their date, and I hope they continue to, press forward. You know what I'm saying? But yes, we see Kyra and Jason. Okay, we go on their dates. We go down memory lane, them having serious conversations about dealing with depression and all kinds of things. But definitely seeing Jason and Kyra forming a relationship over the process of the show, right? And at some point, Jason is about to go into deliberation, and he asks Kyra for some clarity. What is going on with you? And she said, well, just like you don't know, I don't know. And see, this is the thing that Kyra consistently does. She deflects. You ask her to be honest about her feelings, and then she will tell you how, well, you're not being honest about your feelings. So why are you expecting me to be honest about mine? And I honestly feel like it's a cop-out. It's a cop-out so that you wouldn't have to be real and honest, because you were playing the game to stay till the end. And I think that it had served her at the beginning to kind of leave all this mystery. But by the time we got to, the end of the situation, people wanted. Jason probably just felt safer with Liz. And I think that when Kyra thought that things would start to heat, I think they slept together. And I also think, I'm wondering now if Jason slept with Kyra. I mean, I'm not slut shaming nobody. Y'all are on a dating process. And if y'all had not all been around each other, if y'all had not all seen each other, then you possibly would have been smashing one guy over here. And then, maybe in another 2 weeks, smash this guy too. Ooh, y'all, hold up. That wind is blowing way too hard. Hold up. Okay. Am I back? Can y'all see me? Thank you so much for the super sticker, Tiara Jones. Y'all, I'm so sorry. I told y'all this wind was blowing so hard, and just I must have knocked the connection out for a second. Y'all, give me some thumbs up. Y'all can hear me and see me, and we'll jump right back into it, because I don't have a lot of time before I have to get ready for this next interview. Okay, we're good. All right. I actually don't think who don't you think slept together? Let me know. We're good. Okay. So where was I? Jason basically explained that Kyra has a disconnect between, what she communicates and her actual feelings. And I do see that. She is very guarded, and a lot of men want women to be emotionally giving in a way that they aren't before they're giving in that way. I've actually had conversations with male friends of mine that want women to give up all of this, all of this emotional support, and let you know that you're 100% the guy and all of that before they will even, make a step towards locking you down. And I feel like that's so ridiculous because so often men require from us what they themselves are not willing to give. So I feel like I understand what Kyra is coming from, but I also feel like a lot of this is Kyra wanting to stay in the game until the end. And yes, I did see her on Love and Marriage Huntsville. You need to see my last Bondi Blue show where I actually talked about that. Okay, and went through the whole little trailer and talked about it. So y'all make sure y'all check that out. But yes, I do feel like she was emotionally unavailable. You know what I'm saying? And AJ is the type of guy that doesn't require much because he doesn't give much either. So I feel like with Jason, he required more emotionally. And as soon as Liz gave that to him, that's who he wanted to be with. Okay. So after the segment, Liz and Jason talk, and she tells him that you handled yourself well. You did good. She was able to get out everything she had to say, and you were respectful, and that's all that matters. And I appreciated all of those little conversations that Liz and Jason were having with each other in between scenes because it showcased the validity of their relationship. If we thought it was for play before, if we thought it was a game before, it's not now. and that's all that matters. It's not now. Okay. It's very much real at this point. And I'm happy for them. They seem very happy with each other, both of them. And I think that's great. I did feel like Kyra was hating a little bit though. But anyway, they discuss that date that David and Stacy went on, and David is hell-bent on making everything we perceived about him to be misinformation and lies and just shit that we misunderstood. But I don't think I misunderstood a motherfucking thing. I feel like David wants too much because he is insecure. I think they almost bullied Stacy into agreeing with the idea that just because we're married, that means I should be letting you have every little piece of me. I don't agree with that. As a married woman, if I have a fucking journal, if I have a diary, if I have something that I would like to keep for myself, then I should be able to have that space just like you should. Everybody should still have something that is identifiably just for them, even in marriage, okay? Because we need to be whole people. I need y'all to understand that. Marriages do not work with two halves of people coming together being two broken motherfuckers together. You need to be a whole person with your own identity, with your own shit going on so that you bringing something to the table that's not steeped in insecurity, in need, in want, in fear, but steeped in, I'm a great person. I want another great person to come into my life and we can enjoy each other. And there needs to be a balance and healthy expression in that. Not, I need to find ways to control this as soon as I get it. And that's what David feels like. David feels like as soon as there's a possibility that I can have this, I need to hurry up and control it so it doesn't leave me. And that is the opposite of what you should do. Okay. David also says that he feels like Stacy was not actively listening to him. I think he's on bullshit. I think he's on bullshit. I think he's full of shit. I think a lot of what we've been taught about how we should show up in marriages and in relationships is toxic. And showing up is not a whole person. Not having anything that is, just for you as a person is ridiculous. We come into this world alone. We will die alone. I don't want to live alone, but I also do not need to be with someone who feels like they need to try to control or they need to be able to see every part of me in order to feel safe. That's not trust. Trust is, I don't look through your phone every day. Trust is you could be doing anything and I still trust that you're not. That's trust. Trust is not, I need to know every single thing so that I can then tell myself I know every single thing so I don't need to trip. That's not how that works. Okay. Then we move on to V and Joelle, who you can just tell by their body language that they're not together anymore. And V wants us to know that that was her decision. Okay. She says it all changed once they start filming. He slowed down. They stopped being intimate. I said, oh, y'all was fucking. We knew y'all was fucking. We could tell y'all was fucking when y'all was on that trip. Okay. But she feels like he downplayed their relationship on several occasions to people on the cast, specifically Stacy and Chris, who he be spending a lot of time with. Okay. We actually saw them online at Tressa's comedy show together. And I'm sure it is him being friends with a lot of different people, but he's going to have to find a woman that is okay with that. The truth of the matter is Joel has been in general the same person, and V just can't deal with who he is. I think it's a level of that. I also think it's a level of him not communicating well and him not knowing what he really wants. You are not ready to love. You need to be honest about that. You are not ready to love, Joel. V might be ready to love, but she's not ready to love someone who's so free with their time and their energy with everyone. I understood exactly what she meant and how she felt. She felt neglected, especially when he's spending so much time with other women on the cast. But when she wants to spend the night, he wants to say they moving too fast. I personally feel like if we are moving too fast for me to spend the night, then we moving too fast for us to fuck, as far as I'm concerned. I understand you have children, but at the same time, don't get physical with me if you don't feel safe with me spending the night over. You mean to tell me you can't send your kids by Butter House? You can't send the kids by Butter House for one night when I come and spend the night over by your house? It also makes me feel like Joel got on this show to promote whatever he has going on. And he knew that in order for him to promote whatever he had going on to the best that he could, he needed to stay on the show for the longest. So I think he realized that V was the one he was most sexually attracted to and decided to fuck with her the entire way through for the most part so that he would not get kicked off the show. Okay, because he wanted to remain on the show throughout the whole process. I know how New Orleans niggas are, so I understand him, but I also recognize that he would have had to have been head over heels for her in order for that to work out. New Orleans men do not work like that. Okay, you can't be with a New Orleans man if he don't love you a little bit more than you love him. Because if you love him more than he love you, he gonna dog you the fuck out. It's just the liberties that they will take. Okay, it's just the truth of the matter. Okay. So then we get into how V felt like Stacey was overstepping boundaries by being too touchy-feely with Joel. And I got upset with V at this point because I'm like, don't put that on everybody else. Put that on the fact that Joel was not communicating adequately with you. And then they bring up how Amber had another instance of her tripping out where Amber said that she found out Joel's mother-in-law passed away and invited him out to eat. And V was like, well, I would have been upset if y'all had went out alone. And I understand why she would have been upset, but I also need for people to realize when you are not married to someone, you really need to stop putting married parameters on them. She said Joel was acting like he was single. Well, if you're not married, I hate to tell you, you're single. You're single. It don't matter if you got a boyfriend or a girlfriend. Legally, your ass is single. So what that means is you need to act accordingly, V. He's not your husband, okay? And honestly, I don't think they need to be together, but I feel like she needs to learn from this going forward to stop expecting so much from people and start to listen to the red flags of mixed signals, okay? Because mixed signals are a red flag, okay? And stop expecting so much from people when they're not your husband. He is single. If he wanted to go on a date with someone else, that's within his right, because from what I understand, y'all never said y'all was exclusive. But she said that he did say that. So I don't know. Either way, Joel was being suspect. Joel was being a dog. Joel was being an asshole. V was being overbearing. V was doing way too much. And they both need to learn from this situation. Now, after it was all said and done and she was done holding her dress down for the whole segment, girl, it didn't fit. Come on. What we doing? It did not fit. Deidre, why were you talking to V backstage about how Joel is scared? That shit annoyed the fuck out of me. I am so tired of other men speaking for grown-ass men. Joel is a grown-ass man, okay? I don't want to hear shit about him being scared to commit. What the fuck you on Ready to Love for if you scared? Go home, Roger. Go home. Deidre, go talk to your friend. That's what you need to do. Go talk to your fucking friend. Okay, pissing me off. I was like, boy, if you don't go ahead away from me with this, because that's some toxic shit to try to convince a woman that she needs to try harder to be with a man that just sat on stage and said he don't want to try to make shit work with her. That's what he said. He said, I don't know if I want to try to make things work with her. That's what he said, because he don't like the energy of her trying to control him. They don't need to be together. He needs to be with a woman eventually that is going to be comfortable with how much he is charismatic and you know, has all these friends and all that type of shit. He gonna have to get him a woman that is that type of person herself. So it's like, all right, you doing you, I'm gonna go do me. We all right. You know what I'm saying? But that's if he man enough to admit that that's what the situation is, because niggas like him always want to be out and floating around and being a fucking social butterfly. But as soon as they woman do it, oh no, you being disrespectful. So yeah. Okay, child, anybody got time for him? Let's move on to Liz versus David. Okay, y'all, David sat there on this stage and called Liz a liar, denies that he came at her all wrong about kissing Jason. Oh, so you kissed Jason again? That's a lie. That's not what happened, Tommy. That's not what happened at all. Okay. And then they also played the clip of him trying to hurry up and quit before he got fired, because he wanted to hurry up and interrupt her and not let her speak so that he can hurry up and, eliminate himself, because he didn't want to hear that he wasn't ready to love, because he could not take the rejection because he's insecure, weak. And it's so funny. I'm so glad that Tommy checked him and said, it was so easy for you to sit there and give these calm talks to Andrea and Stacy when it was time for their ass to go home, but you couldn't do the same. He's full of shit. He is full of shit. And I'm going to tell y'all another thing. The way he got up and tried to, first of all, talking about, I'm going to apologize to Liz. I never heard an apology. I also don't like the way he brought up the fact that she had been in a relationship with a man that entire 17 years, it seemed like. I said something was amiss about that relationship. But he was like, remember when she said, remember when you told me that you were dating a man and every time that he would get, y'all would get close, he would run away. Well, I didn't want to be like that. Nah, nigga, you was trying to spray her information, but you realized that it didn't have any merit here. Okay. In that moment when she said, yeah, that's my testimony, I didn't told a whole bunch of people that shit. And what? When she took the wind out of his sails, he had to pivot. He's full of shit. He was trying to embarrass her. He was trying to make her look like a liar. He was trying to make her seem less valid in which she felt, so that it would make him not look so insecure and weak. But it didn't. It didn't work. You looked weaker by sitting on that stage lying about what the fuck we saw. Okay? We know what we was looking at when you tried to push that hug on that lady to hurry up and run and say goodbye because you didn't want to deal with the fact that you were no longer ready to love. Okay? And then he was like, you know what? You're right. I'm wrong. And then he tries to hug her. She did not want to hug him on that stage, but she went ahead. All right. Okay. That's enough. Stop. The fuck kissing me on my cheek, nigga. She should have smacked the shit out of him. But she classy, so she not gonna do that. Stop taking liberties with women when you know they physically do not want you to touch them. And that's what the fuck I be talking about. He can sit up there and act like he didn't know that she didn't want to hug him, but you knew she didn't want to hug you and you forced it anyway. And not only did you force the hug, but when she gave you the church pat she was comfortable giving you, you took the liberty to put your mouth on her face. This is what the fuck we be talking about this social understanding of how men take liberties with women and then blame women and call us sluts and hoes and all of this. When the truth of the matter is, y'all very much make us feel like we don't have a choice and then blame us for the reaction that you get. David can go to hell. Liz and Jason discuss the progression of their relationship, how great things are. They've met each other's parents. They have not had sex, but they are very intimate. They kiss, they talk, they're affectionate. And I love when Liz said, I don't have to do more just because he meets her expectations. You know what I'm saying? She doesn't have to go above and beyond to prove something to him because he is there giving the same amount of effort. So she can relax and be the soft woman that she wants to be. There are so many of us women that say this all the time about relaxing into our feminine, but having to have the space to do so. And I think it was beautiful because that's what it felt like she was saying. He allows me to relax and not have to try so hard and not have to prove anything to him because he wants to show me how he feels about me. I don't have to pull it out of him. I don't have to, coax it out of him. I don't have to argue with him about how he wants to show me he loves me. Or how he's feeling me. He just does it without prompting. Y'all, when she said that shit, I said, girl, You better tell your mama I got a man now and I'm bringing him home. I understand, good girl. Okay. And I also like how she said, I'm still not fucking him and he's still waiting on me. Kyra was over there upset. And that's another reason why I feel like Kyra slept with Jason. If she did not sleep with AJ, I do feel like she probably slept with Jason. Okay. And I'm not mad at her if she did. I just want y'all to understand. I just also feel like I want us to stop acting like people would not have sex in these environments, especially after Stacey, Chris, and Tressa got on that Instagram live video and said that most of the cast been fucking. So, yeah. She said, with like the exception of 3 people, everybody fucking. Okay? Okay? All right. So at the end, we basically get the rundown. David is dating someone new, but it's new. I'm like, girl, run. I think he lying, but girl, run. Alexis is in a good place. She's still single. Okay, y'all make sure y'all come and watch our interview with her on Monday. AJ is going to keep putting himself out there and being a fuckboy. Chris will continue to date and see what happens out there, and she'll continue to still wear bad wigs, I'm sure. Child, that wig on a reunion was something terrible. Now, when I saw her on that live with Tressa and Stacey, her wig looked good. I think she had a ponytail. She looked good. You can tell that she normally like looks good, but I don't know why the reunion was just like bad wig and Angel Brink's bodysuit. It was just like, okay. KG and Amber seem happy, but it's not to that next level of exclusivity. But they seem good, happy for them. Jason and Liz, absolutely happy, super happy for them. Okay? So, yeah, y'all, don't forget 5:30, 15 minutes. We will be going live. Okay, it won't be Niecy there, but it'll be me, Jay Lee, and Jamie here on my channel to talk to Tressa. Okay, we have questions. And then Alexis on Monday at 8 p.m. Central Time for Niecy Dixon's channel. Okay, on Niecy Dixon's channel. So y'all make sure y'all come back. Okay, child, at Apollonia. Chris wigs are always bad. Child, it definitely gives, I think I'm a white lady, so I don't have to try hard. And I just want to say it's not, because I feel like they think we don't like them because they're gold diggers or something. It's like, that's not what this is about at all. That's not what this is about. This is about feeling like y'all are too excited about your proximity to whiteness. That's what it felt like for me. On God. Okay. So yeah, y'all, that's all I got. We're going to be talking to Tressa. We're going to be getting that information. So y'all make sure y'all come back in like 14 minutes. All right. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. And I will see y'all in a minute.